Hello and welcome to this very special stream. Wherever you're watching it, we are here to play some Star Trek Adventures 2, my favorite role-playing system of all time. I've been invited to run this game for these amazingly wonderful people, and we're going to learn a little bit about them in a little bit. But why are we here? We're here, of course, because of the launch of the new technical manual. It drops on June 4th, so pre-order it now if you haven't, or if you're watching this after the launch, go get yourself a copy. It's so much fun. Right, so who do we have playing and whom are they playing? Well, only they can tell us. And let us start with, I don't know, the bearded one.
Oh, always the bearded one. Hello, I'm Steve. I'm one of the video goblins here at Modiphius. So you may have seen me on other streams, like the highly imaginatively named Painting Stream. We need to work on our titling slightly, but yeah, I'm very lucky to be surrounded by all these people who do this properly. Today, Michael, I'm going to be playing Lieutenant Zeb Herman. I'm a botanist. I'm a space botanist with a passion for, well, apart from botany, a little bit of, some of that botany space gets used to grow spices and herbs to make cheeky condiments for spicing up the food that comes out of the replicator. So, yeah, that's me. I'm ready to do some space science and some space botany.
Fantastic. Next up from, let's just go across the ocean. Let's see who's on the other side of the Atlantic.
Well, that would be me. Hi, everybody. I am Jim Johnson. I'm the project manager for Star Trek Adventures. But for this game, I am just a player. I actually get to play my game. Yay! I'm so excited. And for the purposes of this game, I will be playing Lieutenant Commander Burke Van Joxa from the starter set and also from the quick start. But we are, as Guy I'm sure will tell us, we are changing the timeline. So I'm the chief engineer of the USS Norwalk, California class, and I'm very excited to be here.
Fantastic. And then finally rounding out our crew, we have...
Hi, I am Kim, and I am part of High Rollers D&D, and I today will be playing Ensign Laniar Tenen, who is from Beta Z, and they do languages, and they do the reading the mind, and I mainly chose them because I wanted to be that player who is like, so GM, tell me the thoughts of everybody in this room right now. So, hi. Enjoy. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Fantastic. Okay, yes, we have changed the timeline ever so slightly. Although we're using the pre-generated characters, that is one of the joys of Star Trek and the system, is that you can pretty much shift them around as you like. And so we find ourselves aboard that serviceable workhorse, a California-class ship, and the age is 2382. Which is why I'm wearing this particular outfit at the moment.
and we're dressed like this.
Yeah, casual day, obviously.
I feel like we didn't get a memo for this party, did we? We were just like, oh no.
I feel I've let you down. I'm so sorry.
We've all let ourselves down.
Steve, we need to work on the budget for uniforms.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There you go. Well, as we are looking around the Alpha and Beta quadrants, we find this California-class ship gently making her way through space on one of her many, many, many cargo delivery operations, and we see a single window illuminated against the darkness. We slowly push in on that window, where we see a young ensign sitting in their quarters, recording their personal log, which has just now popped up on the Discord chat for that ensign, because that's how that works.
I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Technical difficulty. I was distracted. Ensign's personal log. Photonic energy beings from a photonic-based dimension have returned and are seeking to engage in diplomatic talks. The USS Norwalk has been sent to host these. The USS Voyager encountered similar beings in the Delta Quadrant, although we have no idea of knowing if these are the same ones. A special Starfleet liaison has also been sent, rather unusually via secure subspace communications channel, to assist with these negotiations. The entire meeting will happen in a specially outfitted holodeck that is designed to serve as a long-term conference center and accommodation for the photonic entities.
So that is what the young ensign has heard, and that is also your briefing. Thank you for that, Ensign Tennant. Indeed, the captain has delegated to you, Lieutenant Commander Burke Van Jaxa, to make sure that everything is prepared and that the ship is ready to host this photonic delegation. It has also posed an interesting problem to our Lieutenant Herman. Photonic beings made entirely of light energy. What do they eat? What do they need? What do they require in terms of living? Unfortunately, the records from Voyager just indicate that they were on the holodeck, and that there wasn't very much talking or eating or drinking or singing or diplomatic negotiations aside from preventing the destruction of Dimension X. Yes.
Yeah.
And there's also another matter that has arrived on Lieutenant Commander Jax's desk: the requirements for the holodeck settings, as the holodeck needs to be specifically configured. And this comes through in the form of a letter, which reads as the following. Please set up the following for this historic event: a conference chamber suitably impressive, but within the style of a 1930s Earth science fiction film. There should be a table in the middle of the room with seating for at least 8 people on either side. Name cards should be present, and mine should read President of Earth. Provide holographic attendees to serve as members of the press and official dignitaries. About 1,000 will do. They should cheer and applaud whenever I finish a speech, or any other member of the delegation. This will help with second impressions, as my last was on a small rocket ship hardly befitting the nature of this mission. The engineering department will need to erect a level 9 force field around your largest holodeck, and I'd advise running all available power to the holodeck to make sure there are no interruptions. Furthermore, I would link all processing power from the ship's computer directly into the holodeck. We have no idea if the photonic beings will actually take up memory buffer space, but we don't want to take any chances. And as I've always said, a dose of kedmazine a day keeps the Tylovian flu at bay.
He's not wrong.
Activate the program as soon as I arrive, and please address me as Mr. President at all times. This will help the negotiation run smoothly, of course. That's the briefing that you get.
And that was the briefing from our Starfleet liaison?
That's correct.
Okay, does the Starfleet liaison have a name other than Mr. President? Like, do we know who this person is outside of this mission?
So if you ask your captain, the captain will tell you, just before the captain, by the way, is due to take a shuttle and go on personal leave, which they decided to take the moment they got this briefing from Starfleet. The captain will tell you, well, you will have to call him Mr. President, but I'm afraid it's actually, he's an EMH from the USS Voyager. He's their medical hologram.
Oh boy.
Just remember why they released the EMH Mark II. Anyway, good luck.
Yeah, it's like, all of a sudden, I'm very glad that my job appears to be worrying about plants and what they're eating, and you've got to program everything.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
So officially, this is Lieutenant Commander Van Jax's mission. And the two of you have been allocated to help the commander however you or he might deem necessary. Technically, it is the Doctor who is going to be launching the negotiations, as he ran them last time round, and kind of get the sense that Starfleet was happy to get him anywhere else other than on Starfleet headquarters, programming in the emergency command hologram, which he's been pushing for a long time. But yes, that is where you find yourselves. So what are you doing?
Well, if
And
this
you
is
said, oh, go ahead.
no, so if this is your deal here, Jackson, what do you want? What do you think's the best? I've been racking my brains all evening, and I can't think of what to feed these, or anything. What can I bring to the table here, other than jokes about a light meal? Don't laugh at that. That's not a.
I don't know. What does a hologram eat?
Exactly. I had to get that one out of the way really quickly.
Yeah, nice. Well, I'm sure we could send Mr. President a list of questions and requests and say, what does this delegation eat? Do they eat? Do they need sustenance? Maybe there's a equivalent energy source that they can feed on. I'm not sure.
I'm just going to have to quickly pause. Sorry, I've got someone's at the front door. Sorry
Yeah,
about
sure
this.
thing. So the captain has pretty much given us the directives and then said, "See ya, bye." Right? So they're actually gone. Are we on any particular mission right now aside from this one, or is this it?
You are in transit between Starbase 214 and Starbase 215.
Okay.
Literally just repositioning when this message came through.
Got it. Okay. Well, I would want to have my engineering team, working with me to get the holodeck up to spec, with all the particulars that were sent over, level 9 force field. I am a little leery about channeling all of the power into the holodeck and all of our resources into the holodeck. There's just like, I would like to have some redundancies built in. So I think I'm going to, we don't have any momentum to spend yet, but if we did, I would try to create some traits, but I'll hold off on that until we can get some momentum going here. But I think I'm going to direct my my engineering teams, to be on hand, to be monitoring the the holodeck, the power feeds, etc. And if something goes wrong, be ready to shift power around and react to it. Don't leave us in this box without some sort of escape route.
I do like that. So I would ask you to please give me a daring plus engineering check with a difficulty of 1.
All right, my daring is 8, my engineering is 5, so that gives me a target number of 14. I am not going to do anything in particular. I'm just going to roll this straight up. So I'm looking for a 14 or less.
Yep.
And I have no focus that's really going to help, unless computers might possibly fit here.
Power systems, something along those lines.
Nope. I'll just roll straight up here. So I rolled a 9 and a 17, so that's 1 success.
Which is what you needed. So you have, with your team, set up a vast amount of power is going to be going to the holodeck, but not all of the power. Is that pretty much what you were thinking?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
And would you call that, or were we creating a trait there? Were we creating a trait like reserve power or something to pull on if we need it?
Happy to do
Okay.
that.
Cool.
Okay. What is our young ensign doing? You've been, you basically haven't necessarily been given a mandate, but you've been included for a reason.
I think Ensign Tannen is immediately sort of half freaking out, but also really interested in the challenge here, because he'll be thinking, oh, if they're photonic beings, can I read their emotions? Can I read their thoughts? Like, how does that work? Can I communicate with them? How can I communicate with them? Am I going to have to rely on the universal translator? The universal translator doesn't normally work. Sometimes it can fail for new creatures that we've never met. And if they're from the Delta Quadrant, well, all we have is Voyager's logs from the Delta Quadrant. We don't know too much. So do I need to do something about the universal translator? Where can I read more about these photonic beings? And so on.
There's a few questions there.
I think the biggest thought in his head will be, it will be interesting to see if I can read their thoughts, if I can connect with them emotionally. Like, how does that work with beings of light? And yeah, excited to kind of get to meet them and test this out. Like, are they like holograms? Can I, which I don't think Betazoids can read holograms. So I think that will be the biggest question for Tenon.
Absolutely right. And you are correct. Holograms have no neural patterns. There's nothing to actually read as a Betazoid. Would it safe to say that you're digging into the old logs of the Voyager? Is that right? Did you say?
Yeah, I think definitely trying to read up, see what happened, watch the episode again.
Watch the log recordings.
Yes, run the log records through the holodeck.
Yes.
And also maybe like looking into the Doctor as well, because that's quite intriguing that we're getting, I guess I feel like Voyager's travels would be so iconic that everyone's kind of reading up on them, right? So to actually get to meet and work with someone from that crew is quite exciting to Tenon.
I like that. I would ask you to please give me an insight and medicine check, if you will.
Insight is 8 and medicine is 1. I think in terms of abilities and talents, I don't think I have anything at the moment that could perhaps deal with this to help me out.
I'm actually going to suggest psychology.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, because I guess I can't use Universal Translator right now because I need them here to... so yeah, psychology is probably a good one. Could you explain to me what having a focus in this area that I can use on this roll would do for my roll?
What it means is that your science, which is 3, that's what your critical range becomes now. So if you roll a 1, 2, or 3, it counts as 2 successes.
Okay, brilliant.
For this roll, you only need 0 successes. So this is a way of generating some momentum if you succeed.
So 8, 9, okay. So I have a 12 and a 15.
So not below any of your values there.
No, it's not below any of my
so
values.
No complications. It's still a good thing. So there is very, very little that has been written on the encounter that the Doctor had with the photonic beings. A lot of it is classified and just above your pay grade, and so you can't access it. There is quite a lot of stuff that the Doctor has written on his encounter with the photonic beings. But when I say quite a lot, it's about 400 or 500 or 600 pages, which start with him explaining why he's the most qualified to explain what he's about to explain.
Okay.
And it only gets drier after that. Because at one point he starts to muse that perhaps there he would be treated with the correct respect that all photonic beings should have, and you're like, this is not actually giving me anything useful. Yes, so that's what's happening there with our young ensign. Is our scientist? Are you paying any attention to this, or are you busy looking into your herbs and spices?
Sorry, I had to just I had to go reset the irrigation system. Sorry about that. One thing does strike my mind. Do we have any holographic crew members on the Norwalk?
No, not in a California class.
Oh,
yeah.
So this is both a celebrity and a bit of an oddity coming in. I think the way I'm probably going to approach this is, obviously, my main role is botany. Probably not going to be the most helpful, but I am also well versed in sociological issues and galactic politics. You wouldn't guess it from the fact I always have dirt under my fingernails, but apparently there it is. So I think I'm going to just be trying to be the person who's going to try and be ready to learn on the job effectively. I'm going to try and get in there, be the, hey, so photonic beings, huh? Kind of thing. And I'm going to be trying to, get their take on things and try and make sure that, so that I can feed back to, particularly to Jackson, and be like, I think this is going well, or this part is, don't do this anymore. This is going badly, kind of like to try and be that person. But otherwise, yeah, just keep it. I'm just generally curious about it because, you know, as I'm sure we all are, this is nothing we've ever seen anything like before. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So you are all preparing in your own kind of way when the head of communications contacts you, Lieutenant Commander, and says, "Sir, it says here that the President of Earth is ready to transmit."
All right, very well. I'll assemble our team in the holodeck and have Mr. President join us in the designated chamber.
Very good, sir. So what?
We'll go down there. Go ahead.
So what have you made this chamber look like?
Yeah, me personally, I'm not up on my 1930s science fiction movies, but I got to think it's got to be something like Day the Earth Stood Still. So probably like a classic 30s, whatever,
Nice.
political, either the House of Commons or the U.S. Congress, you know, big auditorium kind of thing. Big table in the center with the 8 seats on either side. Audience of approximately 1,000 people, all mix of species and I guess you know, period appropriate genders, clothing, bunting on the walls, you know, for a you know, an official negotiation between different nationalities. They didn't specify snacks or anything, so we'll leave that out. But you know, all the pomp and circumstance, and I guess if it's feasible, we could alter the lighting so that it's got that kind of black and white sepia 30s looking feel of a classic movie for us.
Absolutely. You certainly can. The holodeck, which the California class only has one. She doesn't have a huge amount of holodecks. It's big enough. It certainly feels as if you're in this large auditorium. So what are the three of you wearing?
Ooh.
Because the moment you step in, you realize, well, hang on a second, our red, blue, and gold uniforms, well, actually, it's just 2 reds and a blue. We all just kind of look like a darker shade of gray.
I guess maybe we should go for something that's a little bit more age appropriate.
Oh,
As
I
in
just,
the time period, not
yeah.
you know.
I just got my dress uniform out. I've never had to use it before. You mean I can't use it for this one time? My mom would be so proud.
We can take a holo still later. Don't worry. Send it to her.
Yeah, I think we could. I mean, there's a couple options, right? We could either go to the Replimat and have the ship replicate us a bunch of period appropriate suits and ties and or dresses as appropriate. But actually, I think we're all male or male presenting, right? Tennant's
male, yeah.
Herman and Jax's. So we're probably all wearing, you know, 30s style suits and ties. If we're going with the black and white look and feel, then it's all shades of gray. But we could play with it a little bit, and like those more modern black and white movies that also have a little flashes of color here and there. You know, we could have
Nice.
we could have color appropriate ties maybe for our departments.
Ooh,
I don't know.
yeah.
I want to be careful because Mr. President was very particular about his requirements, and I don't want to play with that too much. But I'm curious to see if there was a little wiggle room for the look and feel there.
Excellent expression.
Well, as you are standing there looking very snappy in your black and white, except for the tie, which I think is a lovely idea, you watch as the doctor beams in, is downloaded via the subspace terminal. And as he appears, he is as he has always been. Although this time around he is wearing his black and white suit with his fedora hat and some spectacles, which you know he really doesn't need as a hologram, but nonetheless it completes his look. He also has a suitcase, a little briefcase with him, And he immediately takes in the room, looks at the three of you, looks back at the crowd, and turns to you, Lieutenant Commander, and says, I had assumed 1,000 would look bigger than this, but it'll have to do. I see we've gone for a splash of color.
If the color's not acceptable, we can adjust that. But I thought a little color might be nice.
I see.
But it's your show.
Isn't it lucky that Starfleet sent me along to think? I think the color will do nicely. He kind of looks at his own tie that he's wearing, and then he looks up and it changes to the stunning gold. So it's not even the mustard, it's this gold color. Right.
Very dashing.
Has everything been... Sorry?
It's very dashing.
Thank you. Now, has everything been done according to my exact specifications?
Yes, Mr. President.
I'm impressed. Well, I can see this is going to go very well. Now, you need to alter the deflector dish to emit a tachyon stream into subspace, but the tachyons need to be inverted so that we basically are sending our position to the photonic beings, as I understand it. I have the specifications here. And he puts his briefcase on the table, pops it open, pulls out a data pad, and he hands the pad over to you, Jaxa.
Okay. Well, I will open up my own briefcase, probably leather bound or whatever, and I will take his data pad in hand, and I will make the appropriate adjustments. Is it something I can do from here, or do I need to call up to engineering to affect it?
Looking at it, well, it shouldn't be too difficult. All you're doing is a minor modification to the deflector dish. But would you please give me a reason plus engineering check?
Certainly. So reason is 11, engineering is 5, so my target number is 16. I am going to give you 1 point of...
2.
I'm sorry, difficulty is 2. I'm going to give you 1 point of threat to buy an extra dice to roll. And can I make use of my computer's focus on this?
Yes, you can.
You're not using a computer, you're using a briefcase.
But it's my data pad disguised as a briefcase.
Fair enough.
It's just the photons look like a briefcase. All right, so my target number is 16. I'm rolling 3 dice. I have a 7, a 3, and a 3. So that is actually
5 successes.
with the focus. That is 4 successes.
4, isn't it 5?
So, oh no, I'm sorry. You're correct. It's 5.
Yeah. 5
so
successes.
Yeah, 5 successes. So that covers the 2 difficulty and earns us 3 momentum.
Wow, correct. Which you might use or bank depending on what your reaction is to this. With the inverted tachyon particles hitting subspace, tachyon particles exist in subspace. They're not particularly happy being in real space, and they have a tendency to act slightly in an unpredictable manner. As a result of that, there is a small chance that a sustained use of tachyon particles could cause some kind of subspace instability. But that's about the sum of it.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm wondering with some of that momentum, I wonder if I could spend 2 of those momentums to create a trait that helps to maybe a trait of stable inverted tachyon pulse.
Absolutely. You can find the tachyon beam, narrow it down to its smallest possible parameters, and so you now have the trait reserve power and stabilized tachyon beam.
And that drops down to 1 momentum.
Yes.
Perfect. Oops.
With the tachyon beam ready to go, Do you engage it?
I will look at Mr. President and say, sir, we have the inverse tachyon beam ready to go. Shall I activate it?
Ah, yes. I've been thinking about this now. What should my catchphrase be?
Catchphrase, sir? Mr. President, sir?
Well, everyone who's in command of a operation gets to use a catchphrase. I never had the opportunity to actually utilize it because of, well, certain circumstances, and, well, I don't want to go into it right now. Needless to say, my genius was wasted. So, I have 3 options available. 1 would be heal it, but I'm not sure that that's necessarily appropriate. The other one would be do it, and then the last one would be just get it done.
Perhaps you could combine the 2 and 3, sir. If you say do it, and if someone's not doing it fast enough, get it done.
I see. In which case, do it.
It works. Yeah. We spring to action.
I will
push a button.
I will push the button. I will activate the tachyon beam.
Beautiful. The beam shoots out of the deflector dish and slams into, well, space. And for a moment, nothing appears to be happening. There's a little bit of turbulence that gently rocks the ship, but because you have stabilized the tachyon beam with that wonderful trait you created, that's all that it is. After a moment, there is a swirling bright cloud of light that appears in the holodeck. And it's about 20 foot above the ground. Just this kaleidoscope of purples seems to be overriding the holodeck color filters that you had put in place. From this, 2 orbs of light slowly drift down and transform, one into a Bajoran Vedic, with the Bajoran priest, so in that sort of red uniform with the funny Sydney Opera House type hat on, and another turns into a very blue-skinned Andorian male with his little blue antennae. They are, for a moment, both in color. They see their surroundings and immediately they shift into the black and white spectrum. And the one steps forward and says, "Greetings from Photonic space. I am R."
Is R the Vedic or R the Andorian?
R is the Vedic.
Okay.
And was he addressing anybody in particular, or just kind of
Just
the group
in general?
Okay.
It's at this point that the doctor looks over at Tannen and kind of gives a...
Me. I'm just gonna wipe my palms on my trousers because sweaty, very sweaty. Welcome to the USS Norwalk. Sir R, ma'am R. You are very welcome. I am Ensign Tannen. I am one of. What am I doing here? Why am I? No.
You're doing very well. Don't worry.
What am I? I will be your communications expert. And I would like to introduce my companions, Lieutenant Zeb Herman and Lieutenant Commander Jaxa, and this is the President of Earth. Welcome to our ship.
The doctor steps forward, a little deflated after that less than triumphant opening that he was hoping for. And he turns and looks at R and says, "On the behalf of the United Federation of Planets, welcome to these second negotiations. I am the President of Earth. And I just want to say that it is my absolute privilege and honor to meet you. I'm reminded of the Libalian endocrine system. It is a remarkably unique system that is at the same time homogeneous but also external. You see, and he starts to drift off into this entire explanation of the Libalian endocrine system, which you can see both the Vedic and the Andorian have no idea what the heck he is talking about. Oh yeah, he keeps going. However, it is quite apparent that the Bajoran, for all of their normal calm, does appear to be slightly uneasy, and the Andorian keeps checking what looks to be some kind of wrist device, and then looking around rather nervously. What are the three of you doing whilst the doctor goes? And because of its attachment to the third valve, it brings to mind the thought of unity.
Could I, looking at these two, can I use my focus of sociology to like just have a little? I just want to see if I can read. You know, they're not acting clearly entirely like a Bajoran or an Andorian would be. It's like, what can we read what their actual intentions are? Are they merely bored like us three, or are they uncomfortable? Have we already whiffed this entire thing?
Right, absolutely. Give me an insight and science check, please.
Insight and science. Cool. My insight is 9, my science is 4, so that's 13.
Yeah.
Difficulty of 1. Oh, this should be fine. It was fine. I got a 3 and a 12, so that's 2 successes.
Nice. And you applied sociology the focus, didn't you?
I did, yes.
So then
That
your
was my
3
attack.
would be a double.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so good. Fantastic.
3 successes then, so you only need
Amazing.
1. That gives you 2 to bank, or you could spend that to get more information.
Well, let's see what I get for my first. Can I see what I get for my first?
Yep.
My
Absolutely. All
first
right,
bit of
so
info.
So
Lovely.
it is very, very clear that the Bajoran is pretending to care whilst seeming concerned about something else.
Right.
The Andorian is definitely panicking about something that has to do with whatever the device is on their wrist. They're not paying any attention to the doctor whatsoever, and
That's fair.
your best guess, it's as if they're expecting something to happen, but they don't know when or what.
I mean, I'm here in this room listening to this presentation as well, so I'm expecting something to happen at some point, but I'll just, while the conversation, I'll just lean over to Jackson and be like, is it me, or do they not exactly seem happy to be here?
Well, I don't know if they're not happy to be here, but they're certainly looking to get on with it.
Maybe we move things on a bit? I mean,
I agree.
play him off. Can you make the crowd clap or something, or end his speech?
That's a great idea. Yeah, I will. I probably still have my pad in my hand from making the adjustments. I'll just make a couple subtle adjustments to it, and when the Mr. President gets to a particular bon mot, I'll have the crowd, uproariously applaud and cheer, and a couple of them will stand up and hear, and hopefully that'll distract the president long enough for me to lean into my expertise with Starfleet protocols and say, Mr. President, perhaps this is a good time for us to take to the table and have some refreshments and begin the negotiations in earnest.
But yes. I suppose so. And as you are taking your seats around the table, he leans over to you, Jaxa, and says, the timing of the applause is not working correctly. I still had 7 pages to go, Maybe we can tweak that for my next speech.
Certainly, sir. And I'll sit down, in the appropriate place, and I will make a show of making adjustments on the data pad.
I like it. I like it.
Well,
And perhaps
everyone's,
some quiet applause as we take our seats.
and seeing as refreshments was made, I'm the closest thing there is to someone who understands refreshments in this place. So I will head over to where the nearest replicator interface would be, presumably like as a dumb waiter in the wall or something.
Right.
And well, I know they're not really, they're sort of looking like a Bajoran and an Andorian, but natural responses. I will still get like a typical Bajoran drink, like a Raktajino or something. No, that's
That's
Hang on.
Kardashian.
that's Klingon, isn't it?
Oh, Klingon.
I won't do that. I'll get something appropriate and then bring that over, and just to fill the silence, I'll just sort of plop that in front of everyone.
The Bajoran takes a drink of it. The Andorian does not. The Andorian continues to. They're trying to hide it, but it's kind of trying to hide reading from your phone in the middle of a meeting. They're not doing a very good job of it. Tannen, are you trying to do anything?
Can I, like, seeing their discomfort, I'm guessing the answer is probably no, but I would like to I think Tannen would do this anyway, just to test out a theory. Could I use my telepathic abilities to see if I can get any sort of surface thoughts or emotions from them?
Absolutely. So as you reach out, expecting not to be able to sense anything, you actually can.
Oh,
But it's very different.
okay.
As you have in the past touched the minds of different species, Vulcans, their thoughts are so uniform and so precise that it's almost a pleasure reading their thoughts. Humans are scattered and kind of wander all over the place, and you really have to filter out what some of them are thinking. Venjaxa is perhaps an interesting mind, if slightly argumentative from time to time. You get no reading from the Doctor, but from the two photonic beings, there is this feeling rather than thought processes. And the feeling is, it's almost like flashes of color in your mind. Colors of blues and purples are very, very brief. Most of the time, it's these stronger colors of reds and oranges. And they're quite, certainly in the Andorian, they're very bold and very strong flashes of red and orange, and quite jarring cuts as well. The Bajoran, they are there, but it's almost like looking at a kaleidoscope. There's orange and there's red, but there's a lot of kind of green that almost seems like it's trying to smother the red and the orange, but doesn't seem to be succeeding.
Okay. Could I approach them? Can I approach the Andorian? Excuse me, sir. I didn't quite catch your name. I am Ensign Tannen, and if you don't mind me being so forward to say, I'm sensing a lot of red from. Nervousness. Is there something we can do to settle you in here, to make you happy? Anything at all? I'm at your disposal.
So this is whilst the President of Earth is opening the negotiations with R. The Andorian looks at you very nervously and says, what do you mean? We're uncomfortable with it. This is not our usual state. It's very unusual, very, very strange. What do you mean, Red? How do you know?
Sorry, excuse me. I'm from Beta Z. I'm a Betazoid, so it means I can process thoughts and emotions from beings around me. And I must admit, I didn't expect to be able to get a reading from photonic beings, but I saw. I'm sorry. I hope you don't find it intrusive, but I couldn't help myself. I can't turn this ability off. But I saw red. When I thought of you and looked in your direction, and I want to ensure your comfort. If you're not used to this form, is there another form that is more comfortable to you?
It would not be appropriate to assume the form that we normally exist in. Your corporeal species, you all can read the minds?
Oh, no, not everybody. Just on this crew, just myself, sir.
You are unique?
In this crew, yes, but there is a whole planet of Beta Zs, sir.
Then you would know how to deal with a unique problem.
Oh.
Perhaps we should speak on the side.
I'm more than yes. I'll be more than happy to assist.
The Andorian rises and moves to the side of the room, leaving our Lieutenant Commander to sit with the Doctor, and Lieutenant Herman. Are you doing anything?
I think I've probably at the corner of my eye, seeing Ensign Tenen just like instantly, as far as I can tell, just instantly hit it off with someone and just being like starting to connect. And I've just spent the past 10 minutes trying to get a word in edgeways with the Doctor chatting, and it's not happened. I'm not angry, but I'm not happy. Let's put it that way. I'm like, oh, come on. But no, I mean, I think I'm probably now doing that thing where you're trying to pay attention to one conversation, but you're much more interested in what's going on over there. You know, I'm like kind of earwigging in to see what the ensign is up to.
Okay. As you are talking, you discover that this particular entity identifies itself as O.
Oh.
Yes. And O is quite interested. There is in the war. Do you know of? Were there prisoners taken during the war?
I'm guessing we're talking about their experience on Voyager. Or
that could be your guess as well, maybe.
Oh, sorry. I might need a little bit of context here. Are you talking about the war when you first met the USS Voyager, or are you talking about war? We have a lot of wars. So I couldn't think which war you're talking about.
You have a lot of war?
Oh,
that
yes.
explains things a little bit. This was the one with the Emperor of the Universe, Chaotica?
Yes.
And the President of the Earth came with Captain Proton and helped stop the war?
I don't remember reading in the logs that there was any record of prisoners being taken or held.
Oh. Well, you see, and as he's about to start... my apologies.
His phone went off.
You can die. Sorry about that.
The holodeck is like, your time has run out.
Yes.
Yes, ending this holodeck session. Please insert 4 credits.
Exactly.
I will make the adjustments to the program. My apologies.
As he is about to elaborate further, R seems to have not been paying any attention to the Doctor, who, in fairness, has prepared a very robust second contact agenda. He's still going through the agenda and has outlined a 7-day program of meetings and workshops to establish an effective dialogue between the Photonic realm and Federation and Starfleet. But R suddenly turns around, and for a moment, Tenen, you get this sort of sense of flashes of color rapidly changing between and across O's mind. And O suddenly looks back at you and says, I think I've perhaps said too much. Never mind, let us rejoin. If you have no prisoners, then that's fine. And then, again, looking at that device on his wrist, he then moves back to rejoin the table. That seems to be the end of it, because they kind of refocus on the Doctor and the negotiations that are going on. Is there anything that any of you are doing, Benjaxa?
Well, I am primarily focused on Mr. President and the negotiations and the work in progress, and just I've got my data pad in like a period portfolio, and I'm just tweaking the settings as needed to have the crowd gently react to what they're talking about, but being mostly unobtrusive. And then I'm also keeping a weather eye on the young ensign, just to make sure that things are not, going out of control. But they seem to have it well in hand. So I'm just doing my best as a commanding officer to keep an eye on my junior officers, but also primarily trying to focus on Mr. President and making sure that the conversation goes well with our guests.
You are doing this, and there is a very small 2.3% increase in the power consumption of the holodeck. It's slowly rising. This, under normal circumstances, doesn't make sense. Once you're running the holo program, when the two visitors arrived, they consumed more power, and that was and should have been the end of it. Once the program's running, there shouldn't be a reason for the change.
Interesting. Well, I think I would like to attempt, if possible, to make use of my data pad and the internal sensors here within the holodeck to maybe investigate what is causing that additional power consumption. I have a talent called Incisive Scrutiny that allows me to glean additional information from arguments, theories, machines, etc., just to learn how they respond to different situations. So,
very nice.
Perhaps there's an appropriate task that I could attempt here.
I love that. Absolutely love it. So that I would ask for you to please give me a control plus engineering as you start to look at this process.
Okay, so that'll be... Oh, go ahead.
The difficulty is 3.
Difficulty is 3.
Yeah, because as you start looking into it, it doesn't make sense.
All right. And would the focus on computers be appropriate?
You could use... I was actually thinking of... computers or reverse engineering. Either of the two, I think, would be appropriate as well.
Okay, great. And then I'll spend one of our points of momentum to buy an extra die. So I'll be rolling 3 dice on this against a target number of 15. And I'll be using my Incisive Scrutiny here. If I'm successful, I'll be able to ask one question as if I had spent momentum on obtain information. So let's see how we do here. So there's a 12 and a 9 and a 10. So that is 3 successes.
Which is what you needed. So absolutely. It does take you quite a bit of time, at least 4 agenda points, to work out
time in this one.
to work out exactly what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
When the R and O arrived, there was also a 2.5% spike. This third spike would seem to indicate that there has been another arrival in the holodeck. But you cannot see them anywhere.
Interesting. So like perhaps a third photonic being that did not take a shape or form?
Could be.
Okay. Am I able to localize where that third being might be?
You absolutely can, because of being able to ask that additional question. The third being is standing at what you know as the person who programmed the holodeck. They're standing at an interface terminal point. But when you look at the interface terminal point on the sensors, you can see the sort of the energy spikes in that area. But when you look with your eyes, you don't see anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I would like to. Oh, is there? And I guess this is where obtaining information. I'll spend a point of momentum to ask another question.
Sure.
Am I able to determine what they are attempting to access while they're at this data port?
So this is where it gets confusing. They are, or it is, well, if you weren't seeing this on the datapad, it's as if the holodeck is attempting to access the holodeck.
Okay.
Which, in your knowledge, holodeck characters do not know that they're in a holodeck. But this is a holodeck. This thing is registering as a holodeck energy consumption object, and it's attempting to access the holodeck controls.
The holodeck controls. Interesting. Okay. I will lean over to Mr. President and say, "Excuse me, Mr. President. Perhaps this would be a good moment for a short recess." I'll have the crowd kind of rumble and mumble and
I
I
like
like
that.
you've got the crowd on sliders is just like,
Yeah.
I got him on slide.
needs a bathroom break.
So I'm actually going to have Mr. President. He's going to give me an insight and medicine check here,
Ooh.
because oh wow, okay. So he absolutely failed in what he was attempting to discern. He rolled an 18 and a 19. So just not enough for a complication, but on an 18 and a 19, he does not realize in his massive thinking that you are controlling the audience. He's almost thinking that there are separate entities at this point. And so he goes, yes, I suppose you are correct. Well, and he rises, and as he's rising up, who has been looking at that device on their wrist, suddenly looks at the device on their wrist, stands up, and as they're looking at it, you can see they start to tap on that device, and it starts to cause the thing accessing the holodeck to shimmer, almost as if it's being phased into visual range for you guys. And it's
the
a
rest of us
humanoid.
notice it at that point.
Oh yes, you become very much aware of what is happening, and as they do that, well, that's when the figure apparently has access to the holodeck controls.
Oh no.
And the audience members all rise up. And you definitely didn't program this in, Venjaxa. They rise up and immediately pull out submachine gun Tommy guns. What are you guys doing?
I think there's a brief look at Jackson, just to look him in the eye and just double check. You didn't. No, you didn't. Okay, that's good. That's good. We're actually in trouble. But we protect the dignitaries. I'm not sure what's causing this, so it'd be like, I guess we've got to try and get the dignitaries out of the way.
So you're gonna rush over to
Is there like a door, or can we get them behind the table or something? To rush over to R and O and be like,
Yes.
we should step out to the. Can I give you a tour? Let me give you a tour. Let's go this way. And I'm like, I'll show you the arboretum. I'm just thinking, I'm just saying anything at this point to try and get them.
Yes.
And sort of like one hand on each of their back, like kind of, come on, let's go this way.
So you have two choices. You could either try and hide behind the very large conference table, or try and make a dash for the door. But remember, this is a chamber designed for 1,000 people. You've got
it's a giga chamber.
Good long distance to get to that arboretum.
Thanks, Mr. President. So I think it's therefore going to be behind the table. That would make the most sense. So
that's what you're trying to do. I like
think
that.
So, yeah. Try and encourage them to go behind the table. And if they're not going, I encourage them with arms.
With arms. I like
How
that.
about this way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tenen?
I'm really resisting the urge to just shout, "Mr. President, get down!" Because I don't think that's going to help the situation. But I think, can I, not to be a stereotype, but can I read the third being that's appeared by the panel and see if I can get, like, if they're the same, if I'm getting the same sort of mind reading, like energy flashes and stuff, light flashes, from that as I did from O and R?
So, you are. But there are lots of red flashes. But in those red flashes, you're actually seeing images of people in red. And the one looks like this young, fairly handsome Starfleet looking human wearing a bomber jacket and running around with some kind of pistol. He's being chased by another human who's definitely of Asian origin. And that's in a sort of a red space. And then suddenly it shifts to this purple space. And once again, you're seeing another human, this time with a little goatee and a skull cap on, but looking very concerned and very worried, almost fatherly, if you will. And then it shifts again, and there is this very clear image in very dark orange of Captain Janeway wearing a ridiculous ball gown. And so you're getting these weird kind of images coming through on this whole thing. Venjaxa?
My first reaction would have been to go into the data pad and attempt to block or override whatever changes they were making to the holodeck program, and barring that, trying to hit the pause button. Something to that effect.
Well, as you are doing that, immediately, that I would need from you, that you got two choices there. Either you're trying to freeze the holodeck program, or you are trying to change the parameters of the holodeck program.
I think I would try to pause it first, and then we can change it.
Makes sense.
Absolutely. So to pause it, all I need for you to do is immediately, you just hit the computer pause program, right?
Yeah.
Except that it isn't. Not immediately, it's not responding because this entity has somehow done something to the holodeck controls. I'm going to ask you to please give me a daring and security check to try and work around this entity who's taking control of the holodeck.
Okay.
Difficulty of 1.
Difficulty of 1. I will spend a point of momentum for an extra dice. So my daring security, that's 8, 9, 10, 11. So let's see how we do here. You said difficulty 1?
Yes, sir.
Difficulty 1. All right. So there's a 4, a 12, and a 9. So that's 2 successes.
2 successes.
None of my focuses will help here. So that gives us 1 momentum back.
1 momentum back. Very nice.
You
realize.
I'm sorry?
What's our momentum at the moment? I've lost track. Sorry.
It's now 1.
1. Cool. Thank you.
You realize that whoever is trying to take over the holodeck isn't particularly familiar with the nuances of the programming. So they've done a very surface level kind of jam out, which you can work around. You are aware that at the same time, they are now trying to access other systems, like the power system, which unfortunately you've rerouted most of to the holodeck. But you do manage to get the program to freeze. So as our botanist is busy pulling O and R down behind the table, the Tommy gun wielding audience suddenly just freeze. It's very curious. O and R do not freeze, and neither does the humanoid figure against the panel freeze. And you can see, Jack said, they are continuing to work whilst this is happening.
Okay.
At the same time, R looks over at O. Again, there's this flashing of blues and greens, and the red is starting to disappear completely from this chatter. And R turns back into a sphere and disappears up through that swirling portal. O turns and looks at you, Tenon, and says, I am very sorry, but they're back where they belong, and they're not our problem anymore, and don't contact us again. And back into a ball of light and straight up into that swirling purple portal, which then promptly closes. You are left alone on the holodeck with this illuminated entity. Back to you guys. Tenon, what are you doing?
Is the doctor still kind of functioning? Is he still like?
The doctor's frozen.
He's
looking
frozen. Yeah.
very angry and confused.
Let's work out what we want to do before we unpause him. Just saying.
They've gone. They said he's our problem now. I don't like this. I got a lot of red. Red is not, I don't think universally, red is not a peaceful emotion. And then before they left, it went green. So I think they were pretty happy with whatever they've done and brought here and left that. And I keep pointing at the thing by the entity that's left behind. I think they set us up. I think they kept talking about prisoners. We could ask the doctor. I think they think the thing that happened in Voyager was real. And they kept asking if we had any prisoners, but I don't know that we had any prisoners. Did we have any prisoners? I'd ask the doctor, but
this is so you've been reading them this time.
I could connect with them. Turns out they're not just balls of light. No, they must have, they must have a neural net, a neural capacity. I thought they were just light.
Fascinating. What's happening with the doctor right now? Is the doctor frozen along with the rest of the program?
Yes.
I didn't intend to do that. I thought he was independent. Okay, that's a problem.
But the other entity is still here and not frozen.
Correct.
We should stop that lot of red from that.
Yes. Can you hear it? I'm trying to address the entity that's trying to access our systems. Are you able to perceive us? Stop what you're doing.
That's what you say.
Don't do that.
As you do that, there is a spike in the power consumption on the holodeck, and it jumps up by 35% very briefly. And then the entity transforms into a human. And standing before you is an individual with a jaw that could crack through ice sheets, hair that is perfectly curled to frame his very manly face, and a deep voice as smooth as silk. This individual looks like a champion of Olympic proportions. He's dressed in a very tight-fitting suit that shows off his muscles, in a very kind of daring way. And
I'm paying attention. I'm locked in.
you're locked in. And he turns and looks at the three of you. He says, "Where is the president of Earth?"
Well, I'll look at the doctor who's frozen, and here he is. We seem to be having some technical difficulties with him, however.
Yes. How have you managed to freeze time for everyone except for us?
That's complicated. One
I
moment.
demand that you release him so that I might deliver my message to him.
Understood. I'll take a look at my pad. Did I accidentally get the doctor's matrix added to the holodeck matrix to freeze him?
Well, not accidentally. Because the Doctor was a transmission, he didn't come with his portable holo emitter. So he had to be integrated into the holodeck.
Oh, so he's not actually here. Okay, I missed that nuance. My apologies. so it's a transmission.
Now,
Okay.
in my head, the doctor's standing there. He's just got like a spinning circle on his chest. It's, like, it's just like no, sorry.
Buffering.
I would lean over, Jackson, looking at you, like looking at this pad, and like trying to work this out. But looking at it, I was like, is there a way we can unpause him without unpausing the thousands of people with what look like guns to me?
Weapons? Yeah. I think I'll if I can, I'll attempt to adjust the program so that I can isolate the doctor and bring him back to active service and keep everything else frozen.
And while no one said it yet, there's a word that rhymes with Maphdeoticals that I'm really worried someone's gonna say in a minute. Maybe check those too.
Good call.
You quickly check. The safety protocols are still engaged.
Oh my god.
So the bullets that these things were firing wouldn't have damaged any of you at all. What they would have done to the photonic beings, you have no idea, though.
Yeah.
The doctor immediately unfreezes and goes, "What is going... Explain why. Where have the delegates gone, and why is everything frozen, and why was I frozen? I thought that we fixed that part of my program."
Mr. President, we have had a situation come up where we've had there was a third guest brought in when the delegates arrived, and the delegates rapidly left after this individual attempted to access our holodeck systems, and I'll gesture to the audience, and armed your crowd.
As you say this, the doctor spins and looks at this form-fitted individual standing near the control panel, and that gentleman steps forward and he says, "So you're the president of Earth? Well, I have a message for you." And he points his hand at the doctor. The doctor's eyes kind of widen, and this white energy beam shoots out of the looks like a ring on this individual's finger, and it hits the doctor, and he immediately is vaporized. Now, that was satisfying. And to you, he says as he turns and looks at the three of you, "Tremble before the power of Maximus, son of Chaotica."
Oh no.
And he disappears into the control panel of the holodeck. The three of you are left behind.
I feel this is the time for Tennant to give us a brief rundown of the historical archives she watched, because, oh man, there's a lot of lore being dropped here.
Okay. So, Lieutenant Paris ran these programs from 1930s Earth where he was a hero called Captain Proton, and he had a sidekick, and he had a series of missions every single week, and most often they involved a villainous villain and a lady in peril. Why it was always a lady, I don't know. But and he would have to save the day as Captain Proton with his trusty sidekick. And of all his missions, the worst villain was this figure called Chaotica. Yes.
Right.
They managed to defeat Chaotica with an intriguing plot where Captain Trainway, dressed in a fabulous ball gown and pretended to be the bride of Chaotica, and then betrayed him and defeated him. So this person is claiming to be the son of Chaotica, which bad. But then does that mean that the photonic beings had him as a prison? Am I confusing things? Did they have a prisoner? No, they asked if we had a prisoner. We need the doctor. Doctor's not here.
This is why my hobby is plants. Because
Yes.
this stuff happens otherwise.
Yes.
You know, with reading and films.
Lieutenant Paris did tend to have a lot of
holodecks.
odd hobbies. Like, yeah, a lot of odd hobbies.
So, like, I think one thing we need to address straight away is the president, the doctor, the MH. Has their signal just been cut, or are we looking at something worse here? What just happened? Did the signal get turned off, or are we going to have a lot of paperwork to fill in? Is what I'm going.
Do we have to explain things to Janeway? Because
Yeah.
I don't want that to be her first impression of me.
No, I don't want to be the first impression she has of you either.
Admiral Janeway would not be a happy person.
No.
And an unhappy Janeway is, without a doubt, one of the scariest forces in the universe.
Oh yes. Yeah. So I think what I would like to do is, and Maximus is still here.
No, he
Oh,
disappeared.
he disappeared.
Into the
He disappeared. I
holodeck
want to.
panel.
I want to go up to the holodeck panel and, first of all, just do like a little status update. Like, what's the server status like this on this thing right now? Are we still receiving a signal from wherever the MH has beamed in from? Is the problem our end? What's going on with him? I think that's the prime thing. Let's worry about have we accidentally got rid of the ranking officer here?
The one adult, the grown
Yes,
we
the
need a
one
grown
adult
up.
in the room.
Yeah. all our dads have left us.
So,
All right.
Is this going to be science? I hope.
You wish. So what you are attempting to do is access the holodeck controls and things, and to determine where the Doctor might be or is. And so that is going to require a control and command check, if you please, as you're
Okay,
trying to
that's-
access subroutines and things.
That's not too bad. Control of 10, command of 2. Am I looking for one success?
Yes, you were looking for one success. Yes, one success at the moment.
Uh-oh. Seeing as I'm trying to make sure he's alive, can I use my value of life can flourish anywhere?
Oh.
That's pushing it a bit, isn't it?
Well, in one way, except that it was proven that the Doctor is not necessarily a life form.
Oh.
But there were some grey areas on that one.
Okay.
You definitely can use the computer expertise talent that you
I was
have.
just about to say that. I'll do that. Because it's using programming or study of a computer system, I can purchase a D20 for free. So no momentum. So I've got 3 D20s to get a single 12 or under, which you would think would be easy, but I've got 1 11 and 2 18s. So
Ooh.
I got 1 success.
There we go, which is what you were looking for.
Yeah.
So it would appear that The Doctor is no more. The stream from wherever it was coming in was being buffered through the holodeck, which is where basically the Doctor's program was residing. It's no longer registering as being part of the holodeck program anymore.
I break this as gently as I can to Jackson and Tennant. I don't know how to say this, but I think it's not just the signal that's gone. The president, the EMH, the Doctor, he's I don't think he's there anymore.
Oh.
Uh,
This is blue. This is black. This is black. This is this is bad. This is really bad. Admiral Janeway is gonna lock us up forever. She's gonna
I
stare
reach
at
into my
us.
pocket underneath the my holographic clothes and produce like a small wrapped up ginger chewy sweet, and I hand them out because ginger is calming.
Mhm.
And I
need
grew
that.
these myself.
I need that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What's that, Jaxa? You're muted there.
Sorry about that. Apologies for the mute. I will call up to the bridge and say, "Bridge, we need to go to red alert. We have a potential intruder in the computer systems."
Well, he's in charge.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Immediately, well, you don't know. You can see the power grid starting to light up as the ship goes to red alert on your data pad. The young ensign who is basically your second, I guess, comes back to you and says, "Sir, I assume you're the one who's been rerouting all of the power."
No, we have an intruder on board.
No, wait.
These commands are coming directly from the holodeck, sir.
Lock it down if you can. And I'll tell him they'll try to lock it down, and I will try to use my data pad to do likewise. We have a photonic being on board the ship that is attempting to infiltrate our systems.
Oh boy! All
We
right.
will lock it down and isolate it.
You're trying to lock him down, isolate the whole thing? Absolutely. As you start to look and see what it is exactly that you're trying to lock down, the computer itself seems to be fighting back, but in a very bizarre way. You try and access a control, and instead of it just denying it, the computer deletes it. It's a very barbaric approach to preventing you from terminating the holodeck, from changing power controls and things. This is an unusual response. But at the same time, as soon as it's deleted, there are protocols that prevent key systems from just being deleted accidentally. Those protocols are kicking in, and the system comes back online just for a few brief seconds before it gets deleted again. So there's this bizarre duality happening within the computer core.
Right.
And you realize you're not going to be able to do this on your own. You're going to need at least a few others to almost coordinate your approach to this battle, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Is that something that we can all do from here, or do we need to move to like the computer cores or something?
You can open up an interface from here, and it's actually easier to do it from the holodeck, simply because it's tied directly into the entire system that's under attack.
I love the way that we're all so conditioned by holodeck episodes. No one has even thought to leave the holodeck yet, because we
just go.
probably can't. We probably can't get out of here. Yeah.
Have we tried the doors? Like
I don't.
No.
Arch?
No one's tried the doors. You shout arch. You shout arch.
Yeah.
It opens.
Computer. Modern program.
Okay, this is novel. This is the
That's
most
a
novel
holy
holodeck
world.
story I've ever seen. Okay, cool. In that case, yeah, no, I'll sidle up to Jackson and be like, what do you need help with? Point me in the right direction.
Well, we're going to need to do our best to isolate the key systems and then isolate this intruder and figure out a way to keep them from shutting down systems and doing whatever they're trying to do.
Okay. Okay.
So the way
And I
this is
think
going to work is slightly different from how it's normally prescribed. All three of you are going to need to give me a daring plus security check. As all three of you are trying at the same time to shut out systems whilst battling this very unconventional problem that keeps happening. Almost imagine that you've got this entity running around and there are 3 doors. Each of you controls one of those doors. You have to close all 3 doors at the same time in order for it to succeed.
Okay.
So there is one other slight problem.
We don't have any momentum. That's another problem.
Well, you've got one momentum according to my my records.
Excellent.
I think we spent it.
Oh, did you spend it and I didn't track it? Okay. All right. So you don't have any momentum. You're quite right.
Oops.
And the problem is that the difficulty is 1, but your complication range, I'm spending 3 threat on.
Oh.
Is it 3, 4 threat? I'm spending 4 threats. It's multiples of 2, right? So I'm spending 4 threat, bringing my current threat total down. I'm spending 4 threat. Your complication range is now 17, 18, 19, and 20.
Good.
Okay.
Good-o.
Yeah. And you need to have 2 successes each. So it's a
Oh.
daring plus security check on 2 successes.
Okay.
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 They're like some of my worst stats. Can I use a focus of shipboard tactical systems? That feels kind of.
That's mainly for Starship Combat, but I would allow you to use Starship Protocol.
Yes, I will use that then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you want to go ahead and do your daring and engineering.
Yeah, you go for that. We'll see how we get going.
Oh god. I rolled a 3 and an 18.
So 3 is good.
3 is
'Cause
great.
that's 2 successes.
Yeah. Oh, so,
18.
yeah.
The 18 is not because of the expanded threat range. That's a complication.
Okay.
Oops.
I would like for my role to test a theory.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh no, I can't because that's engineering or science only, and I need a momentum really badly.
I might be able to change what I rolled. So I have technical expertise. Whenever Tenon attempts a task assisted by the ship's computers or sensors, he may re-roll 1d20 in his pool, or allow the ship to re-roll its
Yes.
d20.
Unfortunately, you're actually fighting against the ship's computer.
No, why, ship?
It's-
I'm your friend.
Why?
Okay. Oh, okay. What about backup plans? So Tenon has plans and contingencies which are set into motion whenever something goes awry. When he or an ally fails a task, he may add 1 point to the group's momentum pool.
Well, there we go.
So
That's exactly what our botanist was asking for.
yeah,
Yay!
so here you
Can
go.
I have that
Un
momentum? That
momentum.
momentum doesn't even touch the bottom before I pluck it up and use it again. So I'm going to use if a guy will let me, of course, is I'm going to use my ability and talent. Did the reading, which allows it says I absorb information quickly and I put it to good use.
Yeah.
I can spend a momentum immediately to use science on a task instead of the department I would normally use. It basically is the idea that, like, you know, I've done some homework at some point that really is appropriate in this place, and that costs 1 momentum, and I can keep using it, but it costs an extra momentum every time. So
Right.
I could use that.
Yes.
And then,
absolutely.
does that allow me to do test a theory as well? Because that is when I attempt a task using engineering or science, the first bonus d20 I purchase is free, as long as I succeeded in a task similar to it already in this series. So I've already looked at this computer and the holodeck and the
You did, didn't you? Mm.
So I'm pushing it, but if you say yes, I'll take
Please,
it.
sir. Please.
Hey,
I've already shaken
there's
those
no-
3 dice. Come on.
As far as I know, there isn't kind of like a timing thing. So if you do the one and then you do the other, there's no limit to the amount of abilities and talents that you can use in a single a single round. Am I right, Jim? Yeah. Okay.
Yep, all good.
Jim says it's good, then we can do it.
There you
Plus,
go.
this there's now an extra like 4 opportunities for me to roll a complication.
So you're getting that extra dice for free then, right?
I'm getting the extra dice for free, but we don't get my momentum back. I have got a 3, which counts as 2 successes because my science is 4. I've also got a 12 and a 16. So that is a science plus daring is 12 for me, 8 plus 4. So it's I got 3 successes in total. And that 16 just outside the oopsie range, I think.
Exactly. So that does get you one momentum back.
Cool.
And Guy, the complication that Tenon rolled, are you going to convert that into threat, or are you going to use that as a complication?
I'm gonna get all 3 because all 3 of you are doing it this simultaneously. So I'm gonna see where we end up. But yes, you are correct. We shall see what happens. So you are the last to make your roll,
Godspeed.
Chief Engineer.
Go on, boss.
So you said this is daring plus security.
Yeah.
I think I should. Let's see. Would my focus in computers help me here?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I think I'll spend that 1 point of momentum that we have available to grab an extra die, just to help out here. You said we need 2 successes, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I've got a 2,
Hey,
a 14, and a 13. So I've got 3 successes.
Is there only 3?
wow.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. 3 successes. So that's another momentum. You're on 2 now, I believe.
Well, I spent the 1, so we're back to 1.
There we go. Up and down. I
We've
love it.
just got a can with a penny that just keeps dinking into it, then a string pulls it back
A
out.
string.
Yeah.
Okay, so your complication. Well, the outcome is you have managed to isolate this entity within the holodeck itself. You think you're about to be able to shut everything down and thank you for playing, but with the complication, somehow this individual has leaked into the internal and external sensor array and its subsystems. And as that happens, there is a voice that suddenly comes out over the entire ship's comms. This is not what I expected at all. Oh, this is far greater than I ever imagined. With this kind of firepower, Captain Proton is doomed. The holodeck flickers a little bit, and he then says, "Why take over the planet Earth when I have an entire universe to conquer? And with this ship, I have the means. Join me, and together we can rule everything." There's an awkward pause. The 3 of you are doing what exactly?
I mean, it's tempting. It's the best offer I've had all day.
You do realize we're on a California, don't you?
Dream
Yes, but in
big.
comparison to Captain Proton's rocket
This is true,
ship.
which was presumably made of cardboard. Yeah. What are we gonna do about this?
Well, we're already at red alert, right? So
Yep,
I will.
no higher we can go.
Engineering, this is JAXA. Shut everything down. We've got to find a way to contain this before it gets worse.
So engineering is going to try and shut everything down. Yep, they're going to just they're going to take some initiative and just try and shut everything down.
Hit the big red button.
So very nice. Rolled a 3, but a 15 is no good for our stand-in bonus engineer. So with 1 success, they come back to you over the comms saying, "I think it's going to take quite a bit of time, sir. We need to take the..." And suddenly the communication stops.
Who's this guy? I love
Oh,
him.
no.
I love him.
Now. I take it that your answer is no. Pity, I could have used some additional minions, but I don't need you. Now, I command you to quiver before my power. Show me the most intimate details of this ship so that I might use her to my full advantage. And if you do not, then you shall be destroyed.
How is he? Can he destroy us?
If I could make a suggestion,
Yeah.
these beings seem to think that what they've seen from Captain Proton and all that is real. So when they say the most intimate details, we could be like, hey, all the powers in the Arboretum. Sorry, Ernan, but all the powers in the
Why
Arboretum.
have you always got to be
and
mean to the Arboretum? It's
well,
just
it's not
so
the weapons, is it? It's not life
demeaning.
support. It's not the core. You know, it's. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I'm
It's
sorry.
fine.
You
I'm
make
used to
the
it by
food
now.
very tasty. I really,
I do
I
other
loved
things.
the
There's
ginger
medical
sweet.
research and things that happens as well.
Great.
But no one cares about that. People always think I'm just about the sauce. Just because I happen to have a bottle of hot sauce with my face on it available in the canteen, but we don't want to go into that right now. It's fine. It's fine. Make your case. I'm fine. I proceed to sulk, kick my heels next to the holodeck panel, just like.
Maybe we tell them the hot sauce is the most powerful thing on this ship and convince them, or the arboretum, like,
Arboretum.
because then at least they don't have access to the things that make the boom, you know, that.
As much as that theory does and plan does cut deep quite a bit to me, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. I can't get around it.
We need to get into it though, like really sell it to them.
Yeah.
Looking at my data pad, is there any hope of isolating critical systems from the entity that's infiltrated the ship?
So, again, you face this problem of whenever you try and shut down pathways, he has a tendency to just delete them. If he gets into environmental controls and just deletes the protocols for what humans require to breathe, for example, it could be pretty bad.
Yeah.
You also get the sense, though, that he really doesn't know where or what he's doing. At the moment, he's in sensors, but at any point, he could jump across to any of the other systems. They are all interlinked.
Do we think, or can we work out, is Maximus kind of aware of the difference between, say, the holodeck as a place which is, to us, not really real, and the other part? Like, could we pull up a simulation in the holodeck of, say, main engineering and be like, here's the engine, buddy, go for it, you know, and or do we think he's worked that out? Is he smarter than that very, now I say it out loud, obvious idea?
So go ahead. I do like that idea. Give me a reason plus medicine check.
Okay, so I've got reason 11, medicine 3, that's 14. And I've
have
got
one more
an 8
medicine.
and a 14. So that's 2.
Okay, so
Nice.
sorry, I should have given you the difficulty. The difficulty was 0, so that gives you 2 extra momentum.
Bang. So we're up to 3 now.
Yeah. You suspect that he will believe that it's a real place, but because he's in the sensors and things, and in internal sensors, he will know that there is another one on the ship already.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you could convince him that the one in the holodeck is the real one, or the more real one, or the primary one is a different story. But again, going on what Tenon suggested as well, they do believe that this is a real space, and you're not sure what he believes is real and isn't real.
Hannon,
Okay.
you say there's this, you're talking about, it's clear that Herman has not necessarily paid full attention. He's like, you were talking about Mr. Proton and Chaotica and stuff. That stuff? Is that what he's looking for? Is he looking for something that looks more like that kind of
It sounds like it. It
So
sounds like
rather
he
than
wants
what
to
we have.
defeat Captain Proton, right?
Do we just give it to him?
What if we pretend Captain Proton's here in the holodeck, bring him back here? Jaxa, could you put a program together that looks like an old style engineering bay, and we could say, oh, the power's here. Oh yeah.
I would assume that stuff is in the database, certainly. I think, Ensign, because you are the one most familiar with Captain Proton, I nominate you to be Captain Proton and make myself and Lieutenant Herman appropriate sidekicks or minions or assistants or something. I'm not familiar with the show, so you're going to have to tell me who this entity we're fighting. Have they fashioned themselves as one of Captain Proton's arch nemesis or villains or something?
I wasn't aware of the Maximus, the son of Chaotica, being in the lore, but sure. I mean, we could do something. We could even have something maybe where Chaotica himself turns up and is like, "Bad son, bad. Stop what you're doing." Yeah, we can work with this.
The impression we're both looking at you, telling us details of this plot, like we're just like, this is like someone explaining a TV show we have never seen. Like, yeah, sure.
I almost imagine it's like a kid telling their dads about what they did in Minecraft that day or something like that. I don't know. Like, you're like, "That's nice, son.
Wow,
that's nice.
Yeah, cool.
Did you win, son?
Did you win? Are you having a good time?"
That's my daily life, by the way. But it's
sorry.
It's Pokemon or Minecraft. That's all I get it.
Sorry to make that a bit too real for you there.
Oh,
yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. All right, well then, Jackson, I'll start making adjustments on the datapad to the program, and I will change the environment of the holodeck to be more of a Captain Proton-looking interior of a spaceship. I will redo Ensign Tennant's outfit to be Captain Proton, and I guess I'll rely on the database or Ensign Tennant's input to put Lieutenant Herman and myself in appropriate Captain Proton minion attire, like whatever appropriate sidekicks are available.
I don't know if it's too much of a hard burn right now, but I cannot remember what Harry Kim's sidekick name was.
That is very Harry Kim, unfortunately.
I am
isn't it?
so sorry, Harry. I'm so sorry. Even now, I'm still kicking you when you're down.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well.
The comments are going to be full of...
I know, I'm in trouble.
Can I ask the system to make me some kind of like scientist with science goggles? Because I feel like that if I'm a scientist, I need to be like wearing a lab coat with like science goggles, possibly a little plant coming out of my pocket or something.
I do like that. Okay, so as sidekicks and Captain Proton, you start to try and fashion this chamber that you are in. And you have got to the stage where you are now suitably attired, and you have designed the engine room as best as you can, pulling from data files and things. Jaxa, you are the one who's driving this whole thing as the engineer. It's fastest for you to do it, and trying to interpret what Tennant is doing. You realize very, very quickly that everything that you are doing is being tracked by the computer. And as you finish building the engine core, the computer is starting to add bits to it. Things which initially don't make any sense because it's just a whole panel of levers. And then you start to see those levers change. The names are starting to change to actual different systems, and these levers would control the amount of power going to different systems within the ship itself. And so the computer appears to be learning about itself as if it's suddenly becoming aware.
This can't be a problem.
And as you finish this creation, once again piped over the comms, which you haven't yet had time to look at, Maximus's voice sounds again. The power to create anything out of anything is phenomenal. Show me more, minions.
Oh. Yeah.
And as he says that, the whole holodeck rewrites itself completely, and suddenly you're all standing knee-deep in a swamp that's very much like it's on a Hollywood studio lot, because you can actually see the corrugated iron edges of the studio and the water tank that you're in. And there are a whole bunch of people around busy somehow wafting smoke out over the surface of the water. And voice says, the voice says, now show me how to activate the weapons.
Yeah, we taught him how to use the holodeck. Oops.
Maybe we could create some weapons in here, like a laser pistol that just fires hot sauce. Sorry, I've got hot sauce on my mind. You said hot sauce, and now all I can think about is your hot sauce. I'm sorry.
Hungry.
Yeah, same.
I guess my worry is if we do that, there's nothing stopping Maximus taking the basic idea and changing it into a laser pistol that shoots burning magma, actual hot sauce, nature's hot sauce, and turns it into something that's actually dangerous. I worry we've just taught him, we've just given him an education in how to use this thing.
I kind of want to see that, though.
Would be good, but I don't know.
No, this is not responsible thinking.
What?
We are Starfleet. We are
This is why
responsible.
you're an ensign. And
This is why I've never been up for promotion, like Harry Kim. I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
Oh,
Ensign, do you think would Maximus be looking for a fight to try to best Captain Proton?
Absolutely, definitely, yes. So maybe if we could create a weapon that has some kind of failsafe, so when I pretend to be Captain Proton, I don't die. That would be great. Make one of those. I believe in you, Lieutenant Commander. That's why you have the pips, and I don't.
He called himself Maximus, son of Proton, right? Or son of Chaotica?
Chaotica, yeah.
There was no rank or anything? Okay.
just some.
Yeah, good.
Son of.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were going to say something. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. I'm just wasting time.
Maximus, son of Chaotica, Captain Proton, refuses to give you the insights you're looking for as to how to make the weapons work until you best him in personal combat here in the swamp. So we demand you come here to carry on.
All right, Tannen, you've got this. You've got this. It's fine.
Oh, that was a good speech. And then you hear, ha 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 ha. You are in no position to negotiate, Captain Proton. I hold all the cards here. If you will not show me what I demand to be shown, then you will die. At that sound, there is a splooshy sloshing sound. And then a very large tentacle rises up out of the swamp water and starts making its way towards you. From behind you, you hear someone going, "Psst, over here!" And we'll be back next week when the story continues.
Amazing.
Anyway, folks, thank you for watching the shenanigans of the USS Norwalk as she travels with this very unusual situation going on. Just remember, we are celebrating the launch of the technical manual, which has got all of these kinds of cool and wonderful things that you can do with all of the technology that is in Starfleet. And so go and pre-order it or order it if you are watching this after the 4th of June. I am Guy, and I run the YouTube channel Off My Bridge, where I talk all things Star Trek and Star Trek Adventures 2. Thank you for watching. And from, let's say, across the lake, we have...
Live long and prosper, y'all. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Then, from this side of the lake, but not always, not this far across as, say, the bearded man, we have...
I think that's you,
Kim.
Kim.
No, oh, I just heard beard. I heard beard,
Oh,
and I was like,
sorry.
one of us has a beard, and is it me?
You made the right choice, but no. Unfortunately.
Hi, I'm Kim, and I'm a really competent human being. You can see me on High Rollers D&D. We stream every Sunday, 5 p.m. BST, and we are doing a very exciting homebrew Dungeons & Dragons campaign at the moment, but we do other things every now and again. Yeah, and thank you for having me, guys. You can also find me anywhere as @NanoSounds or High Rollers D&D. That's where you'll find me. I'm now going to throw to the bearded man.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Steve. Thank you very much for watching, and you can find me basically here. Hang out on the Modiphius Twitch, where we do a painting stream once a month. Also, come and hang out on the Discord. Otherwise, yeah, I'm about. You can probably find me if you want to. Not like that. Thanks for watching.
All right, goodbye, everybody. We'll be back next week, same time, same channel.
Bye.